Hey guys, welcome back to Summer Series. I'm Orla, and today I am joined by the lovely LiAnn, all the way from New York City. LiAnn, thanks so much for tuning in.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Of course. Okay, so tell us who you are and what it is that you do.
So I'm a photographer based out of New York. I actually went to school in Arizona where I studied sustainability. And then once I moved back here to the city is when I decided to pursue photography instead. And I've been freelancing ever since.
That's incredible. Okay, so
Yeah.
as you know, Kouture is a platform to unleash creative brilliance in young people. And a lot of the time we see these young people go on to have careers in creativity, such as design, art, performance. So how did your creativity get you to where you are today?
So, like I said before, I'm mainly a photographer. When I was in middle school, I would walk around my town and take pictures of like the sky and just other
Yeah.
stuff that I thought was cool. And then when I came to the city, I moved in with a bunch of artists. So
Oh,
I
wow.
started, yeah, so I started doing portraits basically of anybody who would let me, which in my friend circle was a lot of people. So then I started freelancing doing that. But then when the pandemic happened, all of that stopped. So I still wanted to be able to take pictures. So I would just walk around the city, go on bike rides, and I would bring my camera and again just take pictures of things that I thought was cool. And then that's when I started my This Is Trash project.
Speaking of this project, it is absolutely incredible. Like you've mentioned, you live in New York City, so there would be a significant problem with trash or with litter there.
Oh
So
yeah.
that obviously inspired you for your photo project. This is trash. Tell us all about this. It's incredible.
Okay, so I've been in the city for the past 3 years. I live in Brooklyn, but I'm in both because I freelance, so I've moved all over the city. So one thing that I noticed when I moved here was just there's so much trash just on the street,
Mhm.
and it's little things like Starbucks cups, beer
Yeah.
cans, food containers, like little chip bags, things that it's really easy just to take with you. And since the pandemic happened too, it's been a lot of gloves and masks on the ground.
Of
Um,
course.
yeah. So it really irks me because especially in the city, it's so easy not to do it.
Mhm. Of
There's a trash can on like almost every single corner. If you really need to throw something away, you can walk into like a deli or a restaurant and just be like, hey, I need to throw this away. You
course.
know? And I think that New York City is kind of famous for being like a dirty city,
Yeah.
which is it's definitely true in some areas, and I think people just accept it and they're desensitized to it.
Yeah, of course, because New York City is, you think of New York, you think of big and amazing things, and people just accept this other side of it that doesn't need to be there.
Exactly. It's so easy not to do it. And people don't realize, people who live here especially don't realize that it's really weird to walk out of your front door and there's just like a pile of garbage on your front step from somebody eating their lunch. It's a very weird thing. And I think the mindset seems to be sometimes is that like, oh, somebody from trash collection will come pick it up, or like somebody will get it, when really it'll probably break down a little bit and then end up scattered around
Mhm.
some other part of the earth that's not here anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just it's crazy how it ends up and how these little things that we could be doing are so impactful and significant to the environment around us. And that's
Exactly.
kind of where This Is Trash came from.
Yeah. So I created This Is Trash to kind of document and highlight the trash that's on the street because most of the time it does go unnoticed. And I was looking at the ground and it's like it's everywhere. I'm gonna start taking pictures of it, and I'm trying to basically disgust people into seeing how not normal and weird this is. And the original goal was to just do that, to just kind of like give people a shock value, like wow, there's garbage everywhere. But then as I kept doing it, I realized that I also want people who are in charge to take notice too, and kind of implement things that would make waste management just make more sense in such a big city, because there's so many people here. We need a really efficient system to get rid of
Yeah.
it all. So yeah, ultimately though, I would like littering to be a thing of the past because it's 2021 and we don't need to be doing that anymore.
Of course, it's so easily done. It's just putting your mind to it and taking the extra steps that it's going to make a massive difference to everyone. Um,
Exactly.
yeah, and your project is it's so linked to junk couture and it's so similar to what junk couture is. So you must have a massive interest in what junk couture stands for and what they
Oh,
do. So
absolutely.
what is it that stands out about junk couture for you?
So when I was freelancing before the pandemic, I was doing a lot of fashion photography, and I was working with a designer, um, And in the fashion industry in New York, I mean, like fast fashion and all of that stuff, it's so wasteful. And I think, again, like a lot of these things kind of just become second nature because, you know, that's just society. But what I like about Drum Couture is that it's aimed at young people. And I think that sustainability is kind of more of like a mindset and a way of life. So
Yeah, of course.
so when young people share that, they grow up and then they become the ones who are in charge making the decisions. And I think that's really important because it gets into you young, this whole mindset, and then it's up to you to kind of make those decisions, you know?
Yeah, of course. And if you could speak to that younger audience, that younger Junk Kouture audience, or just the younger generation in general, and you have to give them tips, three top tips to encourage them to stop littering or to be more sustainable or to just think more cautiously about their environment and their surroundings, what advice would you give them?
I would say, and I would say this to everybody, I think that more people doing just a little bit to change their habits is way more impactful than a few people being extreme. So just even if it's just something little like carrying your lunch in a Tupperware instead of getting a to-go container, you know, or like bringing your own silverware from home instead of using the plastic cutlery that they give you, you know, and just little things like that can make such a big difference.
Yeah, of course. It's all these cautious decisions, I suppose, that are going to make the difference in the future.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you so much for coming in and chatting to us. This has been so insightful. And moral of the story is just put it in the trash, put it in the bin, stop littering.
Bring it with you.
Bring it with you, put it in your bag. But thank you so much for coming in and chatting to us. And I'm sure I'll talk to you again soon. Thanks so much, LiAnn.
Thank you.
See you soon.